In the village of Inewiago, something strange began happening. It started small. Every morning at exactly 7 o'clock, a smell from the north end of the market, warm, rich, and deep. A smell so powerful it stopped people mid-sentence. Children dropped what they were holding. Women turned their head without meaning to. It was bread. Emeka Okafor's bread, and people lost their minds over it. The line outside his bakery started at 5 in the morning, sometimes 4. Grown men and women standing in the dark, waiting, their hands already restless, their eyes already searching for the door to open. And when the bread finally came out, warm, coating, swelling with heat, there was never enough. I was here first. I was standing right here. You saw me. The other man pulled back. The bread tore. Both men stood holding half each, and both men began to cry. That was the day people should have asked questions, but nobody did. Emeka Okafor had lived in Inewiago his whole life. He was not always popular. He was not always needed. For most of his life, he was just a quiet man who nobody chose. His wife had left. She took their children. She said she was tired of a man who needed the world to notice him so badly that it had become his whole personality. She was not wrong. So Emeka baked. He baked every single day. And for a while, his bread was good, but there was nothing special about it. People bought it sometimes, but not always. Then, one day, everything changed. He had a contact in the city, a man who dealt in strange things, substances, compound, things with no labels and explanation. Emeka bought just one small bottle. He told himself it was temporary, just until his bread got a reputation, just until people started choosing him, just until we came every single day, every morning before sunrise, when the village was still sleeping. Emeka would reach under his kneading table and pull out a small dark bottle. A few dropped into the dough, folded in, mixed smooth like it was never there. Every man find his way. This is mine, said Emeka. He slid the bread onto the oven and waited. By 7 o'clock, the smell would reach the whole market, and the people would come. They always came. On the south end of the market, Ade the Okonko stood behind her table. Her bread was beautiful. Anyone who tasted it said so. She used the best grain, slow fermented overnight, with coconut oil and a whisper of cinnamon. The crust was perfect. The inside was soft, but nobody was buying. Every morning, she watched the crowds walk past her clean table, her careful nose and her hopeful face, straight to Emeka's store at the north end. She watched Baba Ike stop at her table, picked up a loaf, smelled it and set it back down. Let me think about it, said Baba Ike. He walked not like everyone else. Adaeze looked at her hands, then at her bread, then at the sky. She had been asking herself the same question for 3 months. What am I not doing? By the 3rd month, the bread had stopped being just food. Ngozi woke before her children every morning, not to pray, not to cook, not to tend to her family, but to join the line at Emeka's bakery while the sky was still dark. She stood in that line, feeling something she could not name, an ache, a restlessness, something in her chest that only calmed when the smell of fresh bread finally reached it. She told herself it was just habit. Pastor Ezekiel told himself the same thing. He even preached about it on Sunday, about obsession, about letting things control you, about knowing when something has too much power over your life. Pastor Ezekiel said, "We are allowing a loaf of bread to make an animal of us." The congregation nodded. Some looked at the floor. From the back row, Today raised his hand slowly. "Pastor, what time does the sermon end today?" A comfortable laughter filled the church because Monday morning, Pastor Ezekiel was in the line at 4:30 a.m.